Hey everybody, it's me, James Yon. I'm joined with my good friend here, Devin Siebold, and on this episode of Crying in My Car, we're going to talk about the Florida voucher system and how Governor DeSantis is giving everyone, no matter what your income, $8,000. That's right. Then we're going to talk about the pros and cons of your kid going to a private school and how they ruined Devin. Then we're going to wrap things up with the new social media influencer college program that your kid can get. A brand new episode of Crying in My Car starts now. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, James John, comedian and parent, and I'm here with Devin Siebold, who is a teacher slash parent slash comedian as well. This is a new episode of Crying in My Car, and we're going to have a good time because I get to talk today. That's right. I get to lead the pack.
I'll allow it.
Thank you, sir. You're a kind and generous, benevolent leader. Okay.
But first, I want to talk about the tour dates, James.
Of course you do.
Yes, I would like to supersede you, if you don't mind.
As always.
Rutland, Vermont, we're coming to you. Board Teachers Tour Dates, Rutland, Vermont, September 12th. Don't forget Syracuse, New York, Buffalo, New York, Erie, Pennsylvania. That's September 13th, 14th, and 15th. And then we're also going back to Ohio, September 19th, Dayton, South Bend, Indiana on the 20th of September, Grand Rapids, Michigan, and then Detroit, Michigan. That's September 21st and 22nd. Grand Rapids already low tickets, and it's several months out. So, yeah, you definitely want to get those tickets, man. Gotcha. I'm looking forward to it. But
I love it.
Anyways, back to you.
Okay, thank you
but
so
much.
much.
But one more thing. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
No, I'm going to give you guys some props, man. I've had the pleasure, the honor, if you will, of actually going to a board teacher's show. Mm-hmm. And I've actually got to interview people before they go see you guys. Mm-hmm. You talk about people who need the laughter. Mm-hmm. Those teachers explain to me, I need this.
Yes.
Yes, I do. Yes. I need to laugh.
They look at you as if people that have just crawled through the desert and you're holding their last,
bottle of Coke.
Stanley cup of water. You know?
They're like, I really need this, which is the cool part about what you guys do because they appreciate you guys.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Gotcha.
I appreciate them. I mean, that's the thing is we're there for them.
Yes.
You know, we wouldn't be there if they didn't buy the tickets. We're there to give them the laughs and provide that cup of water at the end of the desert and go, hey, you got this. That's the thing I've always loved about Casey. Mm-hmm. One thing he says at the end of every show, he goes,
okay.
He goes, you guys, he goes, have the most amazing end of the year possible. You're almost there. Like, we're still cheering them on. Like, we're cheering you on.
Yes, you guys are.
That's the thing.
Gotcha. You're like at that race. You can do it.
Yeah.
You're almost there.
Yeah, we're here to give you some laughs. We're we're literally like you said, during the race, the marathon people that are halfway through going, you got it. You're almost there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. And you know what you represent to those people besides just laughter and giving us something to look forward to? They look at you guys, and I've seen it. They look at you like, that's what freedom looks like. That's
hope.
Yeah, that's what hope looks
Yeah.
like. They want you to tell them stories like, Devin, what is it like paying your rent?
Yeah, I know.
What is that like?
You'd be surprised. Sometimes I'm literally at home, and a droid will show up, and it'll be like, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. And I'll be like, oh, that's an elementary school teacher.
Yeah, that's what that looks like. Yeah. No, it's just cool that you guys get to actually do that, man.
Yeah. People think I make an absolute fortune. I put videos online, make a little bit of money off that. The money that I make, though, I mean, I donate every cent from the books that I sell back to Teachers Pet, which is my charity to help teachers with their pets.
Absolutely.
And then I donate an extreme amount to things like classroom wish lists and
St. Jude.
Yeah, St. Jude and Philly. So, I mean, I try to give back. So if my paycheck ends up being about the same as when I was teaching. once I've started donating everything back. Yeah.
God bless you, man.
I'm not here. I'm here because of them. I'm not here to, make money off. I always feel bad. I'm not here to exploit teachers.
No.
When I first stopped teaching.
That's admin's job.
When I first stopped
There you
teaching,
go.
I was like, should I do comedy of other things? Should I talk about something else? Should I just not stop the teacher content? And from the messages I got, man, from people watching the videos, they were like, I needed that. And I was like, I want to keep providing that need. There's a
Yes.
need, and I'm going to keep providing it. And, I don't make, during the pandemic, I was making a lot of money on the videos.
Yeah.
Now they stopped paying as much, but I still produce the videos.
Yes, you do.
And I'll make like $20 on a video that I used to make $200 on, yet I'm still kicking it out because I really like to, provide the laughter, man, that they need it.
And I'm learning a little bit about that.
You are.
I'm learning a little bit about that. Yeah, you allowed me to like sit on some sketches with you. And I'm learning the process of making sketches. And here's what I get when I read the comments. Thank you so much. It's exactly like that. Like when you make your teacher sketches, like, yes, this is what we go through. Thank you for just giving me a little bit of laughter that I can enjoy before I have to go right back into that classroom.
Yep.
I love that. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, my admin does do that. Or I know teachers that like this and they really enjoy it. So yeah, I've been getting followers from it. So thank you, sir. Yeah.
You almost feel like you get to give a high five to Siegfried and Roy before they go out with the Tigers.
Yes.
You're like, you got this.
You
and
got
it's like, it might eat me.
Now, do teachers ever reach out to you? Like, how do I get started making videos? Do
All
you
the
ever?
time.
Do they really? Gotcha.
Yeah. And I've talked about it a little bit on here. There's a lot of content creators that want to be, popular, and I tell them there's not a lot of money to be made. It's
Not like they're thinking. They're thinking it's like going to be the lottery. Like I start doing videos and all of a sudden I can pay my house off.
I think videos are kind of a jumping point into something bigger.
Yes.
Like for you, you're incredibly funny.
Oh, you're kind.
Very solid stand-up comic. If you ever seen James, you'll never forget it.
Oh,
You're going to leave
thank
there
you.
going, how is that guy not got 10 Netflix specials?
God bless.
But you need a little bit more social media help
Yep.
to get that name out there. And that's the thing is you will create content to hopefully get the talent that you already have.
Yes.
And get it out there.
And that's why we do it. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, if you see any comedian making funny videos, no matter what the subject matter may be, we have to build a following nowadays. Because when we get booked at comedy clubs, no longer do they ask you, well, how funny are you? No, the question is, how many followers you got?
Yep. How many tickets can you
Yeah,
sell?
and when I tell them that Jesus had more than me, they don't like that. No, they need me to have a bigger number.
Yep.
So we're working on videos right now,
Yep.
and luckily I'm learning from one of the guys, one of the masters, if you will, and it's been going quite well. So we're going to be putting out more content because I think Devin's coined it the summer of content.
Yeah. So if you see a video with James, hit that share.
Please.
Let people know, hey, this guy's real funny, and he's trying to get his name out there. And again, it's not about rolling in the dough. It's about
No.
trying to get exposure for somebody who you got some comedic talent. You got to get it out there.
Gotcha.
And I always try to do that. Teachers send me their videos. If you're ever a teacher content creator and you send me a video, 9 times out of 10 I reshare it.
Gotcha.
There only times I don't reshare it is if sometimes there's teacher content creators that create stuff that I go, I don't know if that's being funny or like trying to be malicious, you know? And I'm like, I might not share that one.
I've learned that. Don't
Yeah.
use the videos to get out your personal anger.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't do that. It's not going to come off as cool as you may think.
No.
But I actually started following because of this involvement with this platform as well as making videos with you. I started following a lot of teachers that make content.
Yeah, I saw
It's-
you followed me back finally.
Yeah, well, you're welcome.
Only
But
12 years later.
12 years. Well, it was for a video that I was in. But yeah, I definitely did. No, like Educator Andrea. Like there's
Educator Andrea.
it's funny. Like I can imagine, and when I watch your videos, I imagine the things I see in the video. They're not malicious, but I imagine they're the things that you want to say that you cannot say in the classroom.
Yep.
Like you have to be that voice of reason. You have to be that hope in the classroom. You can't really respond in a sarcastic way.
Yeah. Sometimes you just need to get it out.
Yeah.
I started doing teacher content and there was nobody following me, but it was stress relief for me.
Other teachers started enjoying it though.
Yep.
That's how it started, right?
Yeah.
And they
Yeah,
started
for sure.
spreading it out to people everywhere.
Yep.
Gotcha. You're doing a great job.
Thanks.
Devin.
Thanks,
All
Rob.
right. Well, I just wanted to say thank you for letting me be a part of that and teaching me the ways of the social media. One day I too will be an influencer.
You might already be. By the time this
This
airs.
airs. There you
Yeah.
go. Darn tootin'.
In which case, you'll send your lawyers over to make sure that it never sees the light of day.
Day. There you go. Thank you. Well, I want to start with some teachers in the news stuff, but here's what I want to say first. Now, I am one of the biggest critics for our governor here in Florida. I am not his biggest fan at all, and you guys guys know why I'm a trans parent. So, some of the things that he does, a lot of
he's pushing your mic down. He doesn't want you to talk.
Black Hawk down. Okay. They're trying to silence me. Now, the Don't Say Gay bill, we've talked about that quite a bit.
Sure.
And a couple of podcasts ago, we talked about a teacher who may be starting the beginnings of them repealing that because the teacher was allowed to use their pronouns, which I think is a great start to them then opening it up to students being able to live their truth. My basic opinion, you don't have to agree with me, but that's what I think. And I definitely speak out about when Governor DeSantis does things like that. But I also want to be fair. And I want to give him credit when he does.
You look so defeated right now.
I am defeated right now. But I want to make sure I'm fair.
For those that are just listening,
Yeah.
he's cowering slowly. He's just losing all posture. His bones are turning to cartilage.
They are. Got milk? Yeah. Governor DeSantis did something last year, Devin, at the end of the year. I think it was in September, where the governor allowed families, no matter what their income may be, to be awarded $8,000 voucher that can be applied towards private school tuition. Now, I know you went to a private school in high school, so $8,000 gets you how many weeks?
For me, I was on scholarship because I was a really good basketball player. But other people, I think at the time, honestly, $8,000 would have not been and we were a small private school.
Yeah.
We were one of the less least expensive. I think it was. I think the tuition there was something like $12,000 a year.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So it's a good thing to help out anyone that's trying to put their child in a good school. And there's thoughts about private school versus public school and homeschooling. But if you wanted to go to a private school, you would definitely take the $8,000.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, you definitely would.
I don't know.
What?
I don't know. I think that you're trying to, again, take money away from the public and give it to the private.
Okay.
And not only that, but, I wonder how much we are actually spending per student already in the public sector. Are they shortchanging the parents? $8,000 is a pretty definitive number. Where did that number come up with?
Gotcha. Here's the thing I wanted to point out. I was actually I came from food service. I went to school for hospitality management, and I was at a private high school.
Okay.
And I kind of saw how it worked. Now, there's some pros and cons, I think, as a parent, when putting your kid in a private school. Now, I never had my kid in there, but I got to actually see firsthand what the kids went through, what was expected. It was at a high school here in Orlando. I won't say the name because they don't sponsor us. Anyway, absolutely. But I wanted to ask from your vantage point, too, because you actually went to a private school because you were so great at basketball. Yes, you are. But some of the pros they say with having a kid go to private school is the resources that they can have. They can have more resources than a public school maybe could afford. And I saw that at the school I went to. It had quite a bit of prominent people who gave a lot of money to the school. So those kids had things and uniforms and access to information and other things that a normal high school wouldn't necessarily have. So
there's more red tape around buying that stuff for a public school than there is a private school.
Absolutely.
Yeah. My concern is that you're going to have a massive influx of kids taking the voucher. Then they're just going to go to the private school. The private school is going to say, oh, man, we don't have enough room. We're going to build some more buildings, and we're going to...
Portables.
Yeah, we're going to have these kids, then the private school then becomes the overcrowded public school, but the money is now just in the hands of private individuals.
Gotcha.
And the government gets to save a ton of money by not funding it as well because it's a private institution.
Gotcha.
And suddenly you have the public schools have to shut down. There's not enough people in them, so they cut the teachers and they cut this, they cut that. I just feel like we're just trying to shift resources. I don't think we're trying to do the right thing.
Okay.
It's not, to me, I think it's less that child needs a better education and we got to put them over here. It's you know what? We can make money off this. We'll move them all over here.
Gotcha.
But maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I don't know. Is it something that I'd love to hear opinions of people? Has it
they're gonna
benefited
give
you?
it
Has
to
the
you.
voucher system benefited you?
Got it.
I'd love to know.
Gotcha. And here's the thing, though. $8,000 sounds great, but like you mentioned the firsthand, that doesn't go far.
Right.
In a private school. So you still have to pay quite a bit of money.
And plus, you don't have other things like the transportation.
That's correct.
People forget, but like...
It's not guaranteed.
There's not public transportation to
that's
get
correct.
them there.
Yes.
And, a lot of times there can be a lot of added expenses. Instead of, the school covering the cost of books and all this other stuff, suddenly they may go, hey, we need this money for these books.
Gotcha.
And the field trips even, field trips are cheaper in public school.
Yes.
Because
They're
they have
subsidized.
access to being a public school, they have access to tax-free.
That's correct.
They also have access to public school buses. The school buses are, to rent them, you just pay for the gas and the person.
That is correct.
For a private school, you got to pay for a charter bus.
And I saw it
And that's
firsthand.
hundreds, thousands of dollars.
Yes, it is. When the kids would go anywhere, when they would go play, let's say football or lacrosse, whatever sport it may be, they didn't take school buses because that's not allotted to those private schools. They would take coach buses everywhere, and that was every time they took one, the parents had to pay for it.
Yeah, that's expensive.
It's
So
crazy
There's a lot of
expensive.
hidden costs.
A lot of hidden. No, they're not hidden.
Yeah, that's true.
They're right out there in front.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's disadvantages and there's actually advantages to both. Like one,
And subsidized lunches too. Don't forget about that.
Yeah, I ran the cafeteria.
Sometimes it's free.
Yeah.
And the lunch is like $1.50. But private school, I went from public school where it was $1.40 for lunch.
Yes.
To a private school where we had only option was Chick-fil-A.
Yes.
And it was $6 or $7 every day.
And you're right. That's part of the cost. My kids went to a high school in Orlando, and it was free lunch for everybody. It was one of those high schools, so everybody got to eat. When I worked at the private high school, like you said, we had a Boar's Head Deli, we had a Chick-fil-A, and none of that stuff is cheap.
Is it open now?
It is. As a matter of fact. And it was all high-priced dollar stuff.
Yeah.
Nothing was ever cheap. So it adds up. You have to have money to go there.
Yeah.
So that voucher's not going to go that far is what we're saying. But there is some things they say is an advantage at private school, and you can answer this for us. Personalized attention, more so when you get in a public school.
Kind of, yeah. It just depends on the
think?
school. Yeah. Personalized attention, sure. But I don't know that the quality. So I went from public to private, and I didn't think the quality of education was better.
Okay. Well, was the class
As a
size
student.
smaller, though?
Class size was smaller.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's where they're getting toward.
But what I found is the class size was smaller, but the teacher taught everything.
Okay.
Because they didn't have just one English teacher. They had one high school teacher.
Gotcha.
And they taught math, and they taught English, and they taught science, and they may not have excelled at math because I remember
Not their thing.
They didn't. Yeah, it wasn't their thing. They didn't have to be certified in it either. Sometimes you get under certified teachers. Things that they're teaching reading, but where's your reading credentials? Oh, you don't have to have them at private school. It's like, oh well, at public you had to have 2 years of reading certification. And testing and programs and
One of the things they're saying is a disadvantage, and they're saying is the pressure there and the competition.
Yeah.
It's a little different.
It is. So that I will say.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
It's on every level, too. It's on economic and academically. It's just... they expect a certain level at that school. You're held to a different level there. Like, you can go on academic probation.
Yeah.
Right. Like, if you fall... especially
You
when
can be kicked out, no refund.
Yes, no refund. I was going to say that. I've seen that as well, but those kids had some issues. But if you go below a certain level with your GPA, they can be like, okay, we need to get you on a plan, or you need to leave the school.
Yeah.
That's another thing. I paid to go there, but if your grades ain't right, you got to go.
Yeah.
In public
Yeah, I remember
school, you
that.
just keep trying. That is a disadvantage.
Yeah.
And the competition is very, very prevalent. Like it you can feel it with those kids.
Yeah, it depends again on the private school, but a lot of times it's expectations.
Yes.
And also the parents are paying for it.
Yes.
So it is kind of that expectation at home too.
That's what I was
It's like
yeah.
we're paying for this.
Yes.
Like that's something. It's the difference between as comedians a free ticket and a paid ticket. You go
That
to
audience is
go to
completely
a comedy
different.
club
Yes.
when it's papered. They call it papered, and that means that nobody in there paid and they're there. They don't feel like they're owed anything.
One of the advantages they say if at a private school also, and I'll wrap this up, is curriculum flexibility. You're not held to the same lesson plan that the private school may have.
Yeah, one of the huge advantages I had is we had dual enrollment, but we had dual enrollment where I could go to the college. And at the high school I was at, they had dual enrollment, but you took it at the high school. And I felt there was more flexibility with taking college courses. And, they had a little bit more flexibility on the other courses. One thing I didn't like,
Okay.
and I'm not anti-religion, is they had a Bible class. That took up a good chunk of my day where I was like, we could have other stuff, you know? And so that's one of the things is you go to these private schools and sometimes, sometimes they don't have 3 extracurricular activities for you. They have 2 and then a mandated religions class.
And that was going to be my other disadvantage. You go to school for a education, and a lot of these schools that are private also have a religious agenda.
Yeah.
And if you're not of that religion and you're there for the education, you will have to actually go through those classes, which may be a conflict with your own religion.
Yeah.
Right?
I actually know teachers that were not the religion of the private school they were teaching at, and they never divulged it. They were like, "No, I don't ever say a thing.
No,
I just sit in the classes, sit in the meetings they have, and I just amen." And
that's exactly what I saw,
because
I got to know the teachers, I got to know the students, and not everybody was of that faith, but it was a good education. It was a good place to work.
Yeah,
it really was.
They
just
went along with it.
They sure did. Amen. Okay, so that was one of the disadvantages. If you're not that religion, it could be that. That's what I wanted to talk to you about with that. So my hat's off to Governor DeSantis. I know it pains me to say that. He's giving out vouchers. He's making it more affordable, not saying that it's cheap, if you want to take your kid to a private school in Florida.
So for those people, that want to, sure.
Yes. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, I don't have much. Or public, and nothing wrong with it. It's your choice. We love you regardless. Would you recommend people do it in high school?
I mean, it just depends on
if
the
it
private
specializes
school.
in what your kid may be interested in.
Yeah, sure. I mean, but you have to also wonder too. Private schools aren't, again, you said it with the curriculum. They're not tied to the state's curriculum.
They're not.
They're not tied to the state's retirement program. They're not tied to the state's busing program. But they might not also be tied to the state's IEP program and special education program and the needs that are needing to be met for your child.
Okay.
So you can have demands in the public school and be given the support that is legally afforded to you, but you might not have those demands met at the private school, or you might have them overmet. They might go, you know what? We take mental health very seriously here, and we're going to have counselors on. You could easily go the other way, but just check.
I did not think of that. Yeah,
my child has an IEP, and so I need to make sure that it is being met. And at the school they're at right now, it is being met.
Gotcha.
And it's apparent because they're making progress leaps and bounds.
Okay.
But I don't know that I would have that same confidence in a private school.
Gotcha.
So you have to do your investigation.
You would have to look into it. All right. So there's no wrong answer. You guys do what you feels right for your child.
Right.
Okay, gotcha. Now, speaking of our children, like I'm a big advocate of higher education. And people, when I say that, think, well, what if kids don't want to go to college? I'm not saying every kid has to go to college when I say higher education. There's other things out there that kids can do to earn a good living in this world, man. So I always preach that. And I always say trades. Bring the trades back. We talked about that before, man. Learning an electrician, learning to be a plumber. Those are all great jobs that make really good money. Trust me, when you have a leak in a house, call a plumber. You'll see how much money they make.
And how much you need to make to afford that.
Yes, right. I need
You're
2
like,
college
I
degrees.
need to become a plumber to afford a plumber.
It's so having said that, here's the great thing about education. Like, I know a lot of kids are like, well, I don't want to do that. Well, I don't want to do that. They have found ways, and there's so many different degrees that are available now, Devin, that we did not have when we were growing up. Like, when we were growing up, people say go into business, go into computers, and that's still something that everybody...
Teaching.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I remember that one.
Yeah, it's still a noble profession.
It is.
I remember. But now they teach a wide array of things that we wouldn't even think about. But I got to give the younger generations credit because these things do make money. And I think you're one of the people that I'm talking about. There's courses offered by Western Governor University. They're actually awarding a $4,500 scholarship for one of their new social media influencer scholarship opportunities.
Well, that's a career.
Yes.
And I think you're even, interestingly enough, thinking of it from an influencer perspective. Yes, I mean, social media influencer is a career in itself.
Yes.
If you have a direction and want to do brand deals, things like that. But beyond that, I mean, they're like, I saw the other day, the Orlando Magic, I think, were hiring like a social media person.
Yes.
It was like $85,000, $90,000 a year.
Yes.
To run their social media.
And that's the point I want to bring up because I used to work for a television station, and one of the things that we were looking for is everyone has to have a social media person. Every business out there that wants to get their name out there has one. And basically, it's that person's job to figure out ways to get content out there that makes people aware of your business and what they offer and try to get you more coverage, more followers. So that's a real thing.
It's the new advertising executive
that's what it is.
degree.
Yes.
Yeah.
Instead of you
it's
making
a new marketing degree.
Instead of you making normal commercials that we're used to when we were growing up, it's how do I get social media to work for us in the same way?
But once you do it right,
yes.
I mean,
yes,
that's it.
That's it. Yes,
you've done it. You know, I mean, like if you can get brand recognition, if you can create something special for your, brand, they'll pay you a fortune because. Think about this: a ad on TV that would reach 20 million people,
absolutely,
would cost an astronomical amount.
Yes,
but a correctly done campaign on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook that could reach 4 or 5 times that and go viral, it doesn't have to cost that much money.
No.
And they can make, just as big of an impact. So, yeah, I mean, for sure.
And I know that to be true because the cable provider that we were on would send us statistics on social media influencers versus using traditional commercials. And they would break it down. An average campaign on TV to getting $20 million plus homes would be something like $10 million.
Yeah.
For a cheap commercial. And they're like, I could pay a social media influencer $20,000 and get the same result.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah. What's funny is I remember teaching, and I remember early on I had a few students go, I want to be a YouTuber. And I'm like, come on.
I was that old guy.
Yeah.
And when my kids were little. Yeah.
And then like 5 years later, I'm like, if everybody in the class could take out their phones and subscribe to me, please. I just need a few more people to subscribe to be monetized. And yeah, it was
absolutely true. I had that awakening when my kids were still little. My kids are in their 20s now, but I would see them turn off the TV, pick up a phone or a tablet, and go right to YouTube and stare at it for 8 hours. And I'm like, what are you watching? And it was funny because the things they were watching were streaming a video game.
Yeah.
They had the same video game, but would watch this guy for hours play it instead of them playing it.
For some reason, was that not the worst thing as a child for you?
Yes.
When your friend is playing a video game, bro?
Yes.
I'm literally like, how are you watching that and not wanting to play it? And they just want to watch it.
They want to watch it.
And I'm like, I'm going mad.
I'm like, but
go left. You want to yell through the screen, and it's like, no, I'm turning this off. It's stressing me out.
My kids,
they can't play.
My kids don't know the pain of sitting there watching a friend play Super Mario, and you're like, man, gosh. I would have made that jump. Yeah. They have no idea, man. Yeah. And they're like, no, I'll watch this guy for hours. I'm like, but we have you want to play me and you? Yeah. No, this guy's great, Dad.
Yeah. You don't know the pain of watching your friend play Super Mario and like get pretty far, and then finally they die, and it's your turn, and you die right away, and you have to hand the controller back. You're like, oh, this is the worst.
This is the worst day of my life. So yeah, man, there's different things out there, and I just want to say this to parents because I know we're getting close to graduation season right here. There's other things that your kids can do, and you should not deter them from it. Like I used to be, let them do it. Bro, there's so many different things.
I saw one comment the other day that bothered me, and I just want your quick opinion on this.
Okay.
I saw somebody comment on my video on TikTok about education degrees dropping, the amount of people going into education.
Yes.
And I'd love to know people's opinion on this because I read it, and I don't know, man. It like hit me differently. Normally, I don't pay attention to the comments. I'm sorry, but the comments are a cesspool. Please keep leaving them. But I really, after a while, the first 24 hours, positive, great comments from my followers. Then the video gets thrown into the ether, and then it's teacher bashing, and I hate it.
I understand.
One of them said, I told my daughter, if she wants to be a teacher, I'm not paying for that diploma.
Okay, that goes right along what I just said. That is wrong. Because if they have a calling and they would like to be a teacher, it may not be successful to you in your opinion as the parent, but why would you deter them from doing a job that helps so many people? Like they truly are. They're a public servant at that point. I think
they felt like they're just throwing the money away.
No. Wow, I wouldn't say that.
I mean, but yeah, that's the
Because think about it.
Imagine your child going, I want to be a teacher. I want to be an elementary teacher like Mrs. Smith.
Yes.
You know, and then you go, well, I'm not paying for that. You got to do something else. You know, I mean, like that's
hard.
it's kind of weird because we're at the you know, you got to be a doctor, you got to be a this, you got to be that. I'm going to only pay for that. It's like, what do you get out of it? You know, the thing that I want from my children is not a check back. I want their happiness.
Yes.
You know,
yes. It's not like she said something crazy like I want a philosophy major. No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
No, but honestly, man, I want them to be happy, like you said. It's not about what I want or my financial needs.
Right.
If they want to be a teacher,
I just
why
saw that.
not?
It rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah.
It's one of the few, you know, when I open up TikTok, unfortunately, TikTok's the only service where I open it up and I'll see comments come across the top, like right away.
Yeah.
And that was one that I saw come across the top, and I read it, and I was like, closing TikTok.
Yeah. Forever.
Open it and close it.
Forever. God bless, man. That's hard. No, let your kids be what they want to be. It's okay. And there's so many new, like, exciting new jobs that kids can be that we didn't have offered when we were that young that I think is really cool. And here's one of them I'm talking about. Now, this is right up your alley because, Devin, you are a teacher. Were a teacher, a comedian, if you will, social media influencer, sir. And you are also, people don't know this, you're a really good gamer.
Yeah.
You competed. Like, you were ranked at one point in gaming.
Yeah.
And that's one of the cool new things that kids are doing nowadays. Younger and younger they're getting. They're actually programming and developing games, and you can actually get a great career out of doing that.
So, can I be honest with you?
Yes.
I'm having a little bit of a battle right now with... with Kate and I, so kind of talking about it. Our son, Gavin, is very, very good at video games.
Okay.
Like, I mean... He's gifted, so he's very smart, very intelligent. Picks up a game right away. I mean, he like beat the new Miles Morales in like 2 days. Like,
that's impressive.
And it just can complete everything.
That's impressive.
It's insane. He's so good. And she's like, "Oh, he's really good at video games." And I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "We should embrace this. You know, we should talk to him about coding. We should talk to him about streaming. We should say, hey, you could be a cool, you know, those people you watch on YouTube, that could be you." And she's kind of like, "I don't know that I want that for him." And I'm like, "But he's really good at it and he really enjoys it. Why not?" You know? And she's like, "But it's a stream." She hasn't, like, I think came into that's the new world. You know, that's what the kids are into, and that's what the future is going to be about.
Yes, it is.
Like, there's major gaming events that are watched by millions of people.
Yes, there are.
That have huge pots full of money.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why not him?
Yes.
You know?
So I want to ask, because I was one of those fossils, like I said, man, I fought everything new that my kids were into, and then I finally embraced it. Why not? It's an actual career. They can make money at it, and they're happy, not breaking any laws. So what's her pushback for him to do it?
Tradition.
It's not the traditional thing.
Yeah.
It's not.
Be a doctor, be a lawyer. You know, he's so smart. Why doesn't he use it elsewhere, this and that? And I go, well, because AI is going to take the doctor roles. And
at some point.
I don't know. I don't know, honestly, what he could be capable of. It's just one of those things that I'm kind of leaning heavy into it, but she's kind of pushing back because he is young, and I get it. He needs to explore more stuff. I'm not saying corner yourself. I'm saying just leave that as an option.
Let him try it if he'd like it.
Yeah.
And then you might find that he's very good at it, and he can make a lucrative career. And no one says you can't do both.
Right.
I can be a doctor and still stream.
Yep.
I've seen doctors with a career.
Yeah, just not at the same time.
No. Doctor, we're ready.
So right after I make this incision, we're going to see if I can beat Bowser.
Blindfolded.
As you'll see here on this cut, this is the map of Skyrim that I'm outlining.
Yes.
As I perform open heart.
Yeah, gotcha. So I brought it up because gaming's something that we didn't have when we were growing up, that I can be a professional gamer. And one thing, you can get a Bachelor in Science in Gaming in Esports Management, meaning you're the project manager. And the money with that is great.
Well, I mean, of course, because people pay a lot of money to get games. People don't realize, but the gaming industry is bigger than the movie industry when it comes to money. Like a single game release of Call of Duty can far outpace the money brought in than the biggest Marvel franchise.
And what people don't realize is some of the games they make are so advanced that they're on par with the same budget as a Hollywood blockbuster. Like the money and the resources, there's buildings full of people working on one game. for 2 years straight.
Yep.
Like that's all they do.
And sometimes it even bleeds into other stuff like Fallout.
Yes. I'm new to Fallout because of the show, and I've been watching. Fantastic. I know, Devin. I know. Bear with me, sir. It's okay.
I've beat Fallout 900 times.
I know you have.
My literal. Do you know the name of my company?
No.
Vault City. Like my actual comedy company, Vault City.
That
like,
where you got that from? Oh my gosh!
Yeah, you didn't understand.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all Fallout. Everything's Fallout
City.
related.
God
If I didn't hate needles, I would be covered in Fallout references
You
for
are
tattoos.
so funny.
Like I've got bobbleheads in my house. I have Fallout boxes and T-shirts and everything. Yeah, I'm a big Fallout fan.
Yeah, I know you are.
Yeah,
You told
but
me you
I've been
spent
Fallout
hours
since the beginning. I mean, it's not to be one of those people. I was with it before it was cool, but like I just fell in love early on and been gaming like crazy. But it creates a whole new world, man. It's awesome, and I want my kids to be part of that too.
And it creates a whole new opportunity for people to make money in a profession they love.
Exactly.
There you go, man.
Yep.
So, again, parents, if your kids want to do something different than what we did, it's okay. Trust me, I had to evolve as well. Let them try it. You never know. They can make money and put you in a great house for your retirement. There you go.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, Devin, as always, man, how can they follow you?
Oh, boy. How can they follow? DevinComedy.com. I also have social media. And don't forget the Board Teachers Tour, boardteachers.com.
Right now.
And then also speaking as well, teachersneedlaughter.com. And we mentioned my charity, Teachers teacherspetcare.com, if you'd like to donate or check that out as well. And James.
You can find me the same way all the time, people. Facebook, Instagram, James Yan Comedian.
You know how old I am, James?
What?
You said, you can find me. And I was like, on St. Louis, rolling on the... Nobody? Do you remember?
Yes,
Little Nelly? Yeah, okay.
I'm going down. Okay.
Down, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys can follow me on Facebook and Instagram, James Yan Comedian, YON. And thank you guys for liking all of our silly skits that we get to do together about teaching. I got a whole bunch of new followers thanks to this gentleman right here, social media influencer. You can go to the Devin Seabold Academy. We're taking applications right now.
Right. Yeah, thanks so much for tuning in. Crying in My Car. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode.
Peace out.
There might be a clip up there. There might be a clip down there. If it's got our face, if it's other people's stuff, come back. Don't click on that, But us, suggested things. That's us. Crying in My Car. Devin Seabold, James Yan, Board Teachers. Watch. New trailer for Indiana Jones. No, don't do that. Don't do that.